Port Charles has always lived on the edge of chaos, but this time the danger feels different, more personal, more volatile. As secrets unravel and long-simmering grudges erupt, the fragile peace holding the town together begins to crack. At the center of it all stands Valentin Cassadine, finally exposed after months of manipulation, while Drew Kane's barely contained rage threatens to explode and take half the city with it. For weeks, whispers have followed Valentin like shadows. Deals made in back rooms, information traded like currency, and alliances that never quite added up. To most of Port Charles, Valentin wore his familiar mask, charming, wounded, and forever straddling the line between hero and villain. But behind that carefully curated image, he was orchestrating moves that would ripple through every powerful family in town. And now, the truth is clawing its way into the light. A bombshell drops during what should have been a routine meeting, one of those tense but predictable gatherings where enemies smile politely and pretend not to plot each other's downfall. Instead, evidence surfaces, undeniable and devastating. Financial records, intercepted messages, and testimony from an unlikely source all point to the same conclusion. Valentin has been pulling strings that led directly to recent chaos, including actions that endangered lives and destabilized long-standing truces. Anna Devane feels the betrayal most keenly. As law enforcement and as someone who once trusted Valentin with her heart, the exposure cuts deep. Her composure falters as the pieces fall into place, each revelation confirming the doubts she tried so hard to silence. Anna knows better than anyone how dangerous a cornered Cassadine can be, and fear flickers beneath her resolve, not just for herself, but for Port Charles as a whole. Meanwhile, Sonny Corinthos watches the fallout with a familiar, calculating calm. He's seen men like Valentin before, brilliant strategists who believe they're always 10 steps ahead. Sonny understands that exposure doesn't end a war, it merely changes the battlefield. With his territory and family potentially threatened by Valentin's schemes, Sonny quietly begins to mobilize, determined not to be caught off guard. But the most explosive reaction comes from Drew Kane. Drew has never been one to hide his emotions, and rage simmers just beneath the surface as he learns how deeply Valentin's actions have affected those he loves. For Drew, this isn't about power or control. It's about betrayal, about being manipulated into situations that cost him time, trust, and peace. Each new detail pushes him closer to the edge, and those closest to him can see the storm building in his eyes. Carly tries to reason with him, reminding Drew of the consequences of acting on pure fury. She's been down this road too many times to count and knows how easily righteous anger can destroy everything in its path. But Drew isn't listening, not fully. His sense of justice has sharpened into something more dangerous, something that refuses to wait for legal resolutions or carefully planned revenge. As Valentin realizes the walls are closing in, his confidence wavers. Gone is the smooth talk and sly smiles. In their place is a man scrambling to regain control. He insists he acted to protect himself, to stay alive in a town where enemies are everywhere. But even as he pleads his case, it's clear Valentin still believes he's the smartest person in the room, and that belief may be his ultimate downfall. The tension spreads beyond the main players, seeping into every corner of Port Charles. Laura Collins faces the impossible task of maintaining civic order while powerful men circle each other like predators. She knows one wrong move could ignite a chain reaction of violence, undoing years of hard-won stability. Her faith in diplomacy is tested as she weighs whether the truth alone is enough to stop what's coming. At the hospital, the emotional toll becomes painfully evident. Elizabeth worries about how the growing conflict will affect patients and staff, while Finn senses that the coming days will bring more than medical emergencies. They'll bring heartbreak. Even the walls of General Hospital seem to hum with unease, as if bracing for impact. And then there's Drew, standing at the crossroads of his own making. Friends beg him to slow down, to let the truth take its course. But Drew's anger isn't just personal anymore. It feels like a force of nature, fueled by the belief that decisive action is the only way to protect Port Charles from men like Valentin. The question isn't whether Drew will act, it's how far he's willing to go once he does. Valentin, exposed and desperate, considers one final gambit. If he can't control the narrative, perhaps he can reshape it. But in Port Charles, last-ditch moves often come at the highest cost, and the line between survival and self-destruction has never been thinner. As the week unfolds, alliances will shatter, loyalties will be tested, and one explosive confrontation could change the town forever. Will Valentin pay the price for his secrets at last? Or will Drew's uncontrollable rage unleash consequences no one can undo? One thing is certain. Peace in Port Charles is hanging by a thread, and it may not survive what comes next.